10 feet tall, they like chilling at the Miami Mall. Hey, they 10 feet tall, hopefully they don't like roving y'all. Two companies will attempt the first U.S. moon landing since the Apollo missions a half-century ago. This is pretty crazy because, of course, our generation has not seen the moon landing. As far as I'm a millennial, they supposedly landed on the moon before I was even born. And, of course, the computers back then were absolutely stupid. I don't even know a better descriptor. The computers in a birthday card that essentially sings happy birthday, those little stupid birthday cards, they say that the computer inside the chip inside those cards is as powerful as the moon lander was back when they landed on the moon. So it's very confusing to me that the entire time that technology was going absolutely nuts, that entire time we didn't go back to the moon. It's very confusing, but now they say that private companies are going to be there all the time in the near future. It says that China and India scored up moon landings while Russia, Japan, and Israel ended up in the lunar trash heap. Now the two private companies are hustling to get the U.S. back in the game more than 5 decades after the Apollo program ended. It's a part of a NASA-supported effort to kickstart commercial moon deliveries as the space agency focuses on getting astronauts back there. There are scouts going to the moon ahead of us, said NASA administration Bill Nelson. So this is something that a lot of people are going to be debating in the near future. And again, it's not something that everyone is fully behind here. So we'll talk about this. We're going to talk about 10-foot aliens supposedly at the mall. Again, supposedly is a big if there. So we'll talk about that in just a second. Nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect my opinion, Dex's opinion, or anyone else who works with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. If you have not already, it helps us out if you end up going through any of our affiliates, and it helps you out if you end up protecting yourself against cybercrime. NordVPN is one of the best and one of the easiest to use. If you do not have a virtual private network, it protects your IP address, which is your online identity, which actually connects to your real address and everything else. It also connects to you. If you know anything about how they are data logging and basically getting your profiles down, you can prevent that by having a VPN. Nord is, again, one of the easiest. Download it. It's like an on switch and off switch. All you have to do. Go to marfooglenews.com/VPN. Not only will you get a giant discount on this, but you will also be helping us. I appreciate your support, and I appreciate everyone that goes through any of our affiliates. Can't say thank you enough. They 10 feet tall, they like chilling at the Miami Mall. Hey, they 10 feet tall, hopefully they don't like roving y'all. Hey, they 10 feet tall, they like chilling at the Miami Mall. All right, there is, it's a lot of craziness today. And again, welcome everybody. Thank you, Beans and Frank, JPass, Skywatcher, Cam Mitchell, Francisco. We've got Salta Paul, Patty Swan, and many, many more in the chat. Patty Swan from Aliquippa, PA. I've never heard of Aliquippa. From Oregon, Yukavang, Renee Alera, thank you so much for the support, and I appreciate you. Thank you for popping in. Again, there's a lot of folks that have been here for years. I really do appreciate you guys continuing to check in on us. We are working our butts off right now, so thank you for the support. Also, Blue 007 Diamond, thank you for subscribing. Christopher Walker, we've got Genius by Birth. And Mexican Johnny, thank you to all the new subscribers. Daniel, Nicole Merchand, Crystal 98110, thank you guys for subscribing. Again, we appreciate each and every person that does give us a chance. And I think today's show is going to be a wild one to come in on. Speaking of which, the 10-foot aliens, there is a reason behind this. There's so much chatter on the internet. Do I absolutely believe it? No, but I don't exactly believe the narrative being told to us about why hundreds of police officers showed up to the Miami Mall. We're going to go over that. Again, this picture on the thumbnail was actually taken from a high-rise apartment, and this is zoomed in. I mean, there was dozens. There was probably at least 100 cop cars, and really insane if you consider the reaction
was supposedly to two teenagers with fighting with sticks or fireworks. So it didn't really add up. So we'll talk about that here in a bit. We also have kind of all of the world updates. In fact, today we are going to be acquiring ballistic missiles. We are going to be talking about the Red Sea is boiling over. A responsibility claimed for Iran attack. We're going to talk about the 10-foot tall aliens in the Miami Mall. We're going to talk about the New York City subway incident. We are going to talk about underground shelter shutdown. Clinton escapes to Mexico and the EpiPen updates. And this one likes them young. That's exactly what they said. And then Stanley Cups and Madonna. Oh, my. With the Stanley Cups and Madonna, it's just something I absolutely had to show you. So the Stanley Cups, by the way, absolutely crazy. If you are somebody who did all of that, I'm not hating on anybody that goes and grabs those limited things. I feel like there's a lot of really important stuff, and most people are completely distracted. And distractions aren't limited to anything that MSM or government's putting out. It's social media. It's all of the things that we all get hyped up about. And I get it. Sometimes you got to get distracted from what's going on. Now, if you're new here, remember we actually do the work before every show to make sure that it has every single article, tweet, video, picture, document available over on marfooglenews.com. And when you go there, all you have to do is look for today's thumbnail, Miami Mall incident. Once you click on that, major world updates, you will find a full bibliography of every single article, tweet, video, picture, document. We're doing this live. So everything here has all been done before, and we do it every day. So make sure to utilize that. It's a great service for other creators as well. I do ask, there's a lot of creators that actually use our list and almost do it exactly. Maybe give us a credit, maybe not. If it's every video, maybe shout us out or something if you are using it. It's not required. It would just be a common courtesy if you use our stuff a lot. Give us a shout out. Send people our way. Obviously, we're all in the same boat of being on a platform that doesn't really appreciate the subjects we're covering. Let's bring in my co-host / internet brothers, Dex James. What is going on and how are you doing today?
Hello, Adam. Hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
So, first of all, there's with the mission back to the moon, right? They're supposedly going back to the moon. I only say supposedly because the first time, I don't understand how it's been 50 years since we went to the moon. I'm not a denier. I'm also not somebody who is like, yeah, they absolutely went. There's enough stuff out there. There's enough people questioning it to at least hear them out, right? There's a lot of weird things about the original moon landing. Many people still believe that they did land on the moon, but the video or the things we saw weren't actually the moon landing. A lot of people believe that we've been up at the moon this entire time, that there's a base up there. The reason we don't see it is because it's completely classified, and who knows, they could be watching from up there. You never know. There's been some really weird things that have happened over the years that I've covered. We have covered all the weird kind of social media photos, videos of the moon glitching, things hitting the moon, all sorts of weird moon stories over the years. In fact, one of the times was YouTube shut down. It was the first time globally YouTube shut down. And they said that it was because there was a video that was going ultra viral. It was a live stream that had, at the time that it was removed, had like 250,000 people watching in a 30-minute period. It spread like wildfire. And it was a military gentleman basically saying that the reason why everything is happening is because there's something coming our way, and it's not going to hit Earth, it's going to hit the moon. And if our moon gets destroyed, then we get destroyed. Essentially, if we don't have the moon, it will screw everything up here on Earth. I'm not saying I believe all of this, but it was a crazy thing. A lot of channels covered it, from Drama Alert to 20 million subscriber channels. All of the alien channels covered it. Back then, and it was like, things like that have happened, and it makes you wonder about the moon. Dex, as far as the moon goes, it's something that a lot of people still to this day, in fact, more people debate since the invention of social media. Now more and more people are debating about the landing, about us going there. What do you think about the current mission to the moon?
Well, I think it's easy to get wrapped up in the debate about humans going. It's a little easier if you think about just as long as you don't have a different opinion about what's above us. It's a little easier to think that probes and other things can get there and land and have done that because we've covered that since humans have been there. We just haven't covered any more humans going there. That's the crazy thing because it just hasn't happened. But yeah, this is sort of a precursor. Some of them are going to, I guess, orbit and do, information gathering, and others may even try to land at some point. But all of that is the pre work, supposedly, to the Artemis mission, where we're going to send supposedly astronauts and potentially somebody from Japan, too, on that flight. They're suggesting right now. So that's kind of a big deal internationally speaking, but also if we can actually achieve it. I guess some will consider it the first time, some may consider it the second time, and some may consider it another Hollywood production.
Here's one question I have, and we've been sending out NASA probes and rocket missions for years and years and years. Even when we canceled NASA, essentially they stopped launching almost everything. It wasn't in the budget. People didn't have interest in space. Just to remind you, it was like all of a sudden that all got wiped out. All of a sudden, they did have an interest in space. All of a sudden, we now have a space force, which they made fun of in the beginning because Trump was the one who enacted it. But at the same time, it was something that they talked about all the way back to Reagan and before that. It got made fun of, but it's still there. After he left office, this is something that still sticks around. They already had the space thing covered by the Air Force. Now, one question I have, and this kind of bothers me, is the fact that the moon is so much closer than any of the other planets or any of the stuff out in the universe. Why, at this point with the technology we have, they say they've got video cameras on Mars that send us this footage and all that. Why can't they have a live stream of Earth from the moon at all times? Why don't they have something that's showing the moon at all times? Like that's what I don't understand. With all of the money that they have spent on different missions from DART to others, it's like put something up there with a camera that faces Earth. I think just the fact that they would be able to do that would be fascinating enough for people to have interest in NASA to fund it and everything else. Why is there no camera facing us? They say that there's been pictures of Earth from the moon or whatever else. Almost all of them are composites. So it's just, there's questions like that just boggle my mind. They're able to send a Tesla up into space with cameras that supposedly film the whole thing. Why can't they put a camera on the moon? Or, that's why people wonder what the heck is actually going on up there. Which brings us, later we'll circle back to the whole 10-foot alien thing. It is really quite crazy to even think about the fact that this is possibly happening because the government is talking about UFOs. The government is talking about aliens. They're supposedly bringing these little, 2-foot aliens into court. They're doing DNA tests and saying it's real. We've got Congress spending their valuable time, their super valuable time on arguing about aliens. It seems like a big distraction to me. And I'm somebody who believes there could be something out there. But I think what they're doing, I think that they release it at really, really odd timing. Like the same day that the president's son was in trial, they release all of the information on UFOs and things. Like, come on. If people can't see that's a distraction, then I don't know what to say. And then U.S. says Russia has used North Korean ballistic missiles in Ukraine and is seeking Iranian missiles. It says U.S. intelligence officials have determined that Russia has acquired ballistic missiles from North Korea and is seeking close-range ballistic missiles from Iran as Moscow struggles to replenish supplies for its war in Ukraine, the White House said on Thursday. Recently declassified intelligence found that North Korea has provided Russia with ballistic missile launchers and several ballistic missiles, National Security Council spokesman John Kirby said. And it says Russian forces fired at least one of those ballistic missiles into UKR on December 30th, and it landed in an open field in the Zaporizhia region. Russia launched multiple North Korean ballistic missiles on Tuesday as part of an overnight attack, the impact of which the U.S. was assessing. Now, we actually covered a few weeks ago. They said that North Korea was actually creating fuel, or they were actually doing some sort of what do you call it? Uh, They were creating a new reactor, but they were doing it for the purpose of making fuels. Dex, I'm not misspeaking, am I?
No, you're correct. There was another reactor that was being spun up for refinement of nuclear fuel for boomers.
So you could question if North Korea is doing that because they're eventually going to supply that to Russia or supply that to China. In fact, I wonder if China could speed up the speed it catches up to Russia and the USA, which China has unbelievably built the largest navy in the world. They are surpassing it as far as the numbers go in a very short amount of time. They have also spun up the production of nuclear missiles way faster than anybody thought. They said, "Oh, we'll have 300 by 2025 or something." That ended up happening last year. Now we don't know how many. Some estimates say that they might even have 1,000 nuclear missiles now. I forget what the USA and Russia are at, but USA and Russia are at 4, 5, 6, 7,000, whatever it may be. Basically, plenty enough to destroy the world 10 times over. I wonder if China could have North Korea produce all sorts of nukes to get its arsenal up. And essentially, you've got double the production going, and everything that's happening in North Korea is secretive. Who knows? But something to think about, and we'll update on it as well. And then, Dex, do you want to cover Houthis launched sea drone to attack ships hours after the U.S. allies issue final warning?
So another escalation. This is getting big. They have not used these sea drones before in this event, but now they are. This doesn't mean they haven't used them in the past. They certainly have, but bringing them to this level and bringing them to the event now shows a significant escalation. They said this first drone that they launched right after we made that announcement got within a mile of some commercial ships and the Navy ships, and then it exploded. They didn't say if there's any other damage from it or if they actually took it out in the process, or if maybe they just miscalculated the driving of it and didn't hit a target. That's something to think about, though, because this adds another layer. They were sending missiles, they were sending drones, and now are in the air, and now they're sending sea drones by water. We also know how effective those were for UKR against Russia. And I can imagine these would be extremely effective against commercial ships, which have really absolutely no defense. It's a pretty sneaky way of getting explosives in to an area and causing a lot of havoc. So they are making these in Yemen. They said that most of them are made there. The parts come from Iran. So it's not something that's easy to shut down. It's not like they're importing them from, another country nearby where we could easily sanction it or stop it or prevent it. So this will be the next thing we're going to hear lots about.
And usually we end up, you can see the pattern of what is going to be the big thing that everybody talks about, everybody chatters about, what the MSM is going to tell us about next. It's pretty easy to see. And then before we talk about ISIS takes credit for Iran suicide bombing attacks that took the 84 lives, I do want to remind you, with all of the adversaries that we have right now that are all activated, I'd highly recommend going and checking out marfooglenews.com/EMP. This is a simple device that can be wired into your truck, your car, your motorcycle, your boats, pretty much anything that runs with a motor, including your homes or your generators. You can actually get a protective device for. This will ground the signal in less than 500 trillionths of a second before it's able to fry your device. And it is also the same company that is outfitting agencies like DHS, DOD, and of course, they're on the DEMSO team helping the Texas grid. So go over to marfooglenews.com/EMP. If you use the code MARF, not only are you going to get whatever sales they are running, you are also going to get an extra $50 off per device. So if you have multiple cars or multiple motorcycles or an RV, a home, a car, whatever combo it is, you're going to get $50 off per device, and you're going to help support independent media. We are on our own. We don't have a multi-channel network to save us. And of course, we are all Marfoogle fam supported. So thank you guys for sharing our stuff out, for getting us out there. They are not recommending us. You guys have to do that to your friends and family. So thank you guys. marfooglenews.com/EMP. and make sure to use the code MARF. Otherwise, it also protects you against solar events. If we have a CME or a Carrington level event from the sun, this will also protect against that. And then ISIS takes credit for this huge booming. It says ISIS has taken credit for a double bomb attack Wednesday that took the lives of 84 people at a ceremony honoring the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps at General Qasem Soleimani on the 4th anniversary of his death. So, Dex, this is actually really, I guess this kind of caught me off guard that they are the ones taking credit for this. I guess I didn't see that one coming. Did you?
Well, we had this idea, at least from the makeup of the event, that it was more than likely not coming from a large state actor like the U.S. or Israel, for that matter. It looked like it was coming from one of the groups. And this group, I guess the only thing that comes to my mind is if you go back into the history of this group, there's a lot of ties to the three-letter agency here in America. So I just, that was the first thing that came to my mind is to what extent that may have played with this group and in that organization. Because I know a lot of people consider that organization, that IS and the IS, as a group that was part of, or at least originally created by, our intelligence agency. And some even question if there's still any role being played there.
Yeah, so like here's the question. If for this to be, then for them to take the blame, right? And if there is a connection there between the three-letter agencies, think about that. Think about the fact that if that path of this was true, that the three-letter agency here could call somebody over there and have one of the top people that's in charge of this thing to be like, hey, we're going to take responsibility for that. Or for them to even do it. To have two crazies basically that are so devoted to that cause that they were willing to give their own to take people out in this. That means they didn't question whoever told them to do it. They were doing it for their purpose. But the people above them, they may have gotten a call from somebody and said, hey, do this and do that. Or they were told to just take responsibility for it and it was something else. Like whatever it is. This was really kind of wild. I mean, think about that. The big deal is if we get accused, or if NATO gets accused, or somebody else gets accused of this, this is why I said. Somebody said to last night's summit, I said, this is bad. This is really bad. Somebody says, oh, that's clickbait. No, it is not. The event I showed on that thumbnail is this event. Qasem Soleimani, and we have a ton of military in our group. Everybody reacted similar to yesterday's news. That was a huge event. For 84 or 95 or whatever the number ends up on, for them to be taken out at the 4th anniversary, the celebration for his life, who he was an icon in their country, a war hero, everything else. After he was taken out by the U.S., they threatened, the Ayatollah actually put out a video specifically made showing our president getting taken out by a drone. It was an animation of it, but it was basically like, this pissed us off. And then to have this happen where, they basically take people out at the celebration of his life. Not only was he a martyr to begin with, now they have just martyred 84 people at his event. If there was any responsibility, or if they end up finding out it was us or this group or that group, this could cause really, really big issues. We're talking about T attacks. All sorts of things could happen. Fantastic Freddy style. Something, it's like they're trying to trigger a world war. That's what I think. I think that something fishy is going on, and I wouldn't put past any of them. But I might be wrong. But a lot of the military that I've talked to, currently serving and retired, and old school veterans, they say the same thing. That this was a huge deal. It was bad. It was really bad. And then this is nuts. So this is what else? This is it was a light day because everybody was basically distracted or I guess focused on a lot of this crazy stuff going on. So this woman did a video, and by the way, yeah, I actually like whoever this woman is. She's actually really I checked out a few of her other videos. Her name is Auntie Coulette. She's on TikTok, and this has been going all around. And then, of course, there's a lot of other people, a lot of other creators doing it. But I thought she spoke it and worded it the right way. But essentially, this woman talks about, hey, there's this big story, this that nobody is really talking about. And essentially, she talks about these two kids at a mall that were, fighting with sticks. And she essentially says, like, oh, well, then why are you worried about it? If these if cops responded to a thing with, these two kids fighting with sticks or fighting with fireworks? Well, the reason why is because of the response. If you see the response, it's absolutely nuts. So just to show you here, yeah, make sure I've got my thing here. Okay, so check this out. If it loads, it's been having problems today. That would be weird if they didn't let us play this now. And weirdly enough, it's like not playing here. Dex, can you grab me a secondary video of the top thing just in case this doesn't work out? Let me see if I can get it to restart. Okay, here we go. I got it. Check this out. Bayside area of Miami, Florida witnesses claims they saw creatures or, quote, beings walking at the mall. Black helicopters are also now on the scene. So was this, and here's the thing. There's several witnesses coming forward that says that there was Black Hawk helicopters, that there was this crazy response. If you see the actual response of how many police showed up, it looks like it was a T attack. It does not look like they were responding to a couple teenagers, which is what the official narrative said, playing with fireworks. Was there an element of something else there? Was there an element of some sort of other event? I honestly cannot say. But we've attached this video here. And here's the crazy thing. They were saying that they were using weapons inside the mall. The witnesses say that the mall patrons were using weapons to defend themselves against 8 to 10 foot creatures. Dex, go ahead.
Didn't she also report and point to that the airport had no air traffic flowing in and out of it during that time period, as if it was shut down, as well as there was a power outage reported in that area too, right?
So what the heck really happened here? And that's going to be the big question. And no, I'm not saying that it was absolutely the 10-foot aliens story, but what was it? Are they covering up some sort of a attack or some sort of event which was really bad? Why was the police response so freaking big? Are aliens hanging out at the Miami Mall? Are they trying to get their Gucci? They finally got some 15-year-old rap videos or something sent through space, and now they're heading to Gucci. I don't understand it. This is what people are talking about. And a lot of people, I bet you for a week that creators are going to be doing videos on this, and they're going to be talking about this whole thing. And this also goes with the previous story, Las Vegas. They had this police officer respond to somebody's house. It was an Hispanic family, and they said that they had an 8 to 10 foot creature in their backyard. The police said they only took it seriously because they saw some sort of asteroid, and on that dash cam, they saw something come down, or a comet come down. Now, put aside that this sounds absolutely nuts. What if something is going on here? I'm sure that a lot of people in the back of their head might be going, whoa, that would be weird. The only reason people would take this seriously is because of all of the talk about UFOs and aliens over the last couple of years. We have this being talked about in Congress. Not only that, some people believe that we are getting close to something, some sort of thing. A lot of folks believe that these aliens are not aliens at all, that they are angels, that we're close to end times, and that fallen angels are actually coming down to earth, that there's mass die-offs, that there's all of these things going on our planet that shows us that we are in end times, that Jesus is going to come back. Like there's a lot of really, really big events that are playing into so many different theories that are going on right now. Let's go over to chat here for a second. What do you guys think happened here? And have you heard anything different about this? Are you in Miami? Let's see here. Jinja Ninja. What is happening, Mr. F? Dreaming Puerto Rico. Those are demons. Yep. There's 50 different theories of what aliens really are. The fallen ones have been here a long time, says R. Davis. Let's see here. Alan G. Palm Diggs. Aliens usually be at Home Depot. What a time to be alive. Love it. Margie, I think I agree with you. I mean, like, it's like a car crash that, you don't want to see somebody hurt. You don't want to see a car crash, but you can't look away. Like you're not going to not look. Maybe some people do, but most people can't look, stop from looking. That's why usually most car accidents cause other car accidents, because people gawk and rubberneck. Well, that's kind of what we have been dealing with for the last 5 years. They are not of God here. Outlook not good. Let's see here. April, spring break for demons. Let's see here. Put the tequila down. Let's see here. The fire CERN up. Did they fire up CERN again or something? American Argonaut. His real lights says men's hearts will fail. Well, that's already happened. Remember when those Mexican guys said they saw 8 to 10 foot aliens in their backyard last year? Yeah. And that's why people are really chattering about this whole thing. Either way, what the heck was this response for? Dex, go ahead.
In addition to power being cut in certain areas around that area, they also, in the airport, allegedly, as they reported here, being shut down, they even said the police scanners were actually turned off. At least the online tools that you can use to listen. So that was reported that those were turned off during that event at one point.
Yeah, it's really trippy. Now, I found another video here of the response. Look at this. So this is a gentleman for the watches, it looks like. Let's see here. So there's a bunch of these videos going around. Look at the response. I mean, it is absolutely nuts. There's even a video of them all in procession, driving, and it looks like look at this. Look at that. That is absolutely nuts. For a couple of teenagers, this is what was put on paper. A couple of teenagers fighting with sticks. I mean, were these like MS-13s fighting with batons? And, they had 50 other gang members there? Like, it doesn't make sense. And I'm sure we're going to get probably more people coming out about this, but are they going to be fake people? The thing with this kind of thing is there's going to be and a lot of the times it will be, people that want to be creators. They'll do a one-off video and say, that they saw something, this or that, and you get all sorts of viral videos of people that are basically just, chiming in, and the game of telephone just changes the whole story. So it's like, again, they say it's like every single cop in Miami showed up for this thing. What the heck was it really? Or are they covering up some sort of event that they didn't want the rest of the U.S. to know? That's what I want to know. I am definitely going to ask more questions. Look at how many cops. It goes all the way up. It goes like half a mile up. I've never seen that many cops for a fight. I get showing up 5, 6, 7 deep. I've seen that, and we've all seen that. Heck, some of you have probably had that pull up behind you for a speeding pullover. But hundreds of cops, if not at least 100, it's absolutely weird. And then at the same time, okay, and then here we go. So same time, we had 2 subways in New York collide. This is really, really wild. 2 subways actually crashed. Now, I don't know how often this happens. I have never covered it, or I haven't covered it in the last 5 or 6 years. And I've been following the news every single day, even holidays. I haven't seen this. Is this something that we just came from last week, or a couple days ago? We had Japan have a plane crash where they crashed on the runway. And we actually talked about with that scenario that the pilot of the Coast Guard plane, the one survivor from that plane, said that he actually got the clear to go on the runway. But the transcript for the actual, tower control speech, the transcript shows that the tower said, please go into holding position, and did not tell him that. So is the pilot lying, or did he actually hear somebody tell him you can move onto the runway? The reason why it's important is it's not encrypted. It's not, somebody could have essentially hacked in, or not even hacked in, put a message to that pilot to get on the runway. If they knew the right jargon, they could either clone the tower control's voice or just do a regular voice. Like, there's multiple control operators. The plane hears that, pulls onto the runway, it causes a massive crash. If the people didn't get out of the other plane, it would have killed over 300 people. It would have been a horrible aviation disaster. And they didn't even leave the ground yet. So now we have 2 trains colliding, and I don't know what they are going to say about this, but it says numerous emergency personnel and other agencies are currently on the scene after 2 subway trains collided, causing a portion of one train to derail in 96th and Broadway in Upper West Side Manhattan. It says at this time, there is no immediate information on possible injuries. MTA officials report that there is a work train rear-ended a commuter train, and firefighters are actively working to assist passengers off the train, and it is still developing. So there may be some updates by the time you end up watching this show, especially if you're watching the replay. But right now, it is a big question. How does something like this happen? Dex, have you heard of New York subways colliding? Is that something you've ever read or heard about?
I can't recall off the top of my head a specific incident. Would think that they've got some accidents over the time, but it's probably very rare. It's a pretty safe form of travel, at least from the mechanical point of view, I would think. Maybe not from the participant point of view. It seems to be very dangerous here lately.
Ding, ding, ding. Saved by Grace says cyber attack. I don't know. That's my question. Was this cyber? They've been doing a lot of drills in the subways. They've been, of course, doing exercises for disasters in the subways. We have, of course, these subways collide. Somebody says a timely distraction. Well, that's the crazy thing. Nobody's talking about the subway. Everybody's talking about the 10-foot aliens, or they're talking about EpiPen, which EpiPen is crazy too, but it's a lot of the stuff that came out is no surprise to us. Our community has known about this stuff for a while. Not to mention, most of the stuff that they're confirming right now is stuff we already heard about that was just speculation, or we thought it was speculation, but it was really probably truth, right? Or things that were leaked out onto the internet that people have known for years. Now we just get to see a document unredacted of it essentially confirming what we thought. Mind you, a lot of what they are putting out is witness testimony and not, you can't exactly take it as fact. Dex, go ahead.
The last time subway crashed was when Jared was arrested.
Jared Kushner? Who are we talking about?
All right, it was a poor attempt at a joke. Jared, the subway guy.
Oh gosh. I get what you're saying. It went right over my head, and it came right back and hit me right in the face. Knocked out my teeth. And then Virginia town shuts down TikToker's tunnel building project. Viral star racked up millions of views excavating chamber 22 feet below her own home. This is kind of a trip. I don't know if any of you watched this woman do this, but a 37-year-old Virginia woman who goes by Kayla was asked by the town of Herndon to hold off on building a storm shelter under her home until she obtained necessary permits. It says in a video posted December 28th, Kayla confirmed that she had received a stop work order and was told her project needed an immediate evaluation by a professional engineer. Fortunately, contrary to rumors here, it is constructed entirely below the slab of my house and shouldn't be too hard to get the permits and approval. So, makes me wonder. I haven't seen this yet, but what I have noticed is that a lot of people are actually building these tunnels underneath their houses. I don't know what her purpose is for it other than to get views, but I really do wonder how many people are actually building these kind of either tunnels or bunkers underneath their houses. All right, and then let's go over, let's see here. Dex, do you want to talk about Clinton spotted smiling and cheerfully greeting fans in Mexico?
Talk about timing. So literally, as the EpiPen Docs were released, he appears in Mexico as if to be out of the country, timely for this event. Now, mind you, in the first tranche of documents, nothing came out really specifically about him, other than someone claiming that he likes the girls young. His name was mentioned numerous times, but there was not like any specific illegal activity claimed in it. Now, we do have a second tranche that came out today and a third tranche that came out. I don't know if anything new will be in those tranches, but we'll have to see. I think everybody's sort of trying to get their hands on it, look through it, figure out what's in it. It's always a lot of information and then, hundreds of pages. So I doubt we'll get much of anything out of it. It's sort of like as you said earlier, we kind of know everything that's in it, or in general, it's stuff that's been talked about, and whether it's been rumored or talked about in interviews or talked about even by witnesses in the past, just not under oath. A lot of it's the fact that it's coming out under oath, but just kind of timely though that boom, he pops up out of nowhere in somewhere in Mexico, and
He was told,
meeting people. Yeah.
as a former president, he knows exactly what's going to happen before it happens. They told him and Hillary, they said, this is all going to be redacted. It's going to be released tomorrow. They probably thought, you know what, let's go on vacation while all of this happens. Probably got to stay away from most of the press and paparazzi, but I don't know. I bet you a lot of paparazzi ended up following them down there. I don't think they can get away from this. Bill, among lots of other names, it's like there's so many people on this list. Yesterday we talked about Tim Pool started reading out some of the things from there, or the witness testimony and some of that. I still didn't get a solid update like what happened with that. Some said, this isn't a slight update. Some said that people in chat were making certain statements and they were, like threats or something like that. And that's why they decided to remove it on their own. That it wasn't taken down, that it was removed by them. Either way, the actual screenshot of when it got removed, it says removed by uploader. Many people commented, I said, you guys don't think he did this. Many people said actually it was a very smart marketing idea to take down the YouTube video and then send everybody to the website. They said uncensored, we have all of this stuff on the website. Timcast.com ended up getting overloaded to the point where it shut down because so many people went there to try to get the breakdown of what was going on with these files. The files, to me, my opinion on this is that these files are telling us exactly what we've all known. As this community has looked into this stuff and heard about this stuff for years, none of this should surprise anybody. All of the names listed, like, we know all of these top people are just absolutely corrupt. They're all sickos. I mean, did you really think that that all of these rumors were untrue? Most of us it was confirmed in our head before we saw all of these, uh, you know, statements. But I guess, and what's crazy to the normal person that doesn't follow all of this stuff, how could you, how could you see these names and some of the claims and not call for some of these people to be put in prison? I don't get it. Even if they don't have solid proof yet, I just wonder what's going to happen. And then guess what? This is before we're going to go into the wildest part. So Jeffrey EpiPen, right? Everybody said a very, very famous quote that he didn't take himself out, right? Well, there might be a hint, and there was something said by a major news personality that hints to the fact that he may still be around. It was so great and so crazy of a statement that most people, including myself, thought that it was an AI video of somebody doing a face swap or something. But we'll talk about that here in a second. First, I do want to remind you, make sure to go over to check out the Energy Flex 1500. It's one of the best solar generators on the market. It is modular. It is also expandable. You can actually add, just like Lego bricks, up to 96 batteries. You can have this be a simple, portable, take it with you, stack up to 5 solar generator, or you can expand it and make an entire wall of power. That is what's really sweet about this, other than the fact that it is a solar generator, so it's going to be silent. It is not going to make noise and alert people 3 blocks away that you have power, and you don't have to store massive amounts of fuel. In fact, you don't have to store any. You just need yourself either some solar panels, or if you want, when the power is on, you can actually charge them from the wall. Go to marfooglenews.com/energy. And also now check out their tactical. This tactical is Army Tough, and what they mean by that is this was actually co-developed by the Air Force Research Laboratory. They are directly working with the Air Force Research Laboratory on the Flex Tactical. This is now out. Again, this one has a built-in heaters in all the batteries. It has a 1,500-pound latch system, stainless steel frame, and it is dust and water resistant. It's got all sorts of extra features. Most people will be good with the regular one, but if you really want the toughest one, this one is actually going to be shipping out with the Army. It actually won the SBIR Phase 2 contract and is going to be on the back of Army vehicles relatively soon here. So if you want the toughest, I would definitely go for this one. So again, if they believe it's reliable, I bet it's probably up there. Go to marfooglenews.com/energy, INERGY, and make sure to use the code Marfoogle. You can also use this for any purpose, as far as take it to work with you, use it for your tools, take it camping. There's all sorts of great uses for power, basically anywhere, without having an SHTF or a storm or some sort of disaster. So make sure to go check it out, marfooglenews.com/energy. And the Lolita Express will be torn apart after years of flying girls and high-powered associates to the Caribbean islands. So the pictures here, it feels like a picture out of a zombie movie or something, or an overrun planet. But this is the Express, and apparently it is going to be torn up. Given the story we're about to read here, it's almost like you wonder if right before they start taking the hammer to it, Jeffrey's going to pop out of the bush and be like, no, don't. Dex, this thing, I wonder, did they truly comb through this? Why does it? I would think that this would be kept in evidence for decades. Like, did they go through with a fine-tooth comb? I'm surprised, like, TikTokers aren't trying to, like, get on the property and go through this thing. Did they take a black light? Did they take hairs out of the seats on this thing? Like, they should be checking DNA on this thing.
Yeah, I think the black light might be useless because it's probably yeah, it's probably that's a bad path to go down. Look, that plane's probably been combed over. Well, you would think that plane has been combed over from investigations. I don't know who technically owns it now, but it's obviously being destroyed because it's not being used anymore. And it's probably not because it's not being taken care of. And it's got such a bad history to it. there's no reason to keep it around. That's also a good reason or a good excuse to get rid of evidence or get rid of anything that could be tied back. And so, certainly, another way to look at it is, why not keep it around? Why not, make sure it's been thoroughly investigated? I'd like to think that the feds or any other authority that might have a case or some form of action on this could have investigated this plane thoroughly, but you never know.
Now, one thing I noticed is I would thought maybe the picture is flipped, but the letters and numbers are correct. Uh, is this a flight thing? Why is the American flag backwards? I was just curious
It
about
always
that.
flies in the direction of the vehicle moving, as if the flag was really flapping. That's standard.
Okay, all right. So I it was just curious. I was like, that's kind of weird. I know an upside down flag means country in distress. I thought, well, that's weird, but apparently it's always like that. And I'm assuming on the other side, then it's correct. So on the other side, it's painted correctly. Huh.
That's correct.
And then Megyn Kelly, whether you like her or hate her, she said something that is absolutely just flippin' weird. So let me see if I can let's see if we can unmute this here.
About Jeffrey Epstein.
Hold on. This on? Okay. So
In the coming year, and you may be even hearing from him directly. We're going to hear a lot more about Jeffrey Epstein in the coming year, and you may be even hearing from him directly. More on that as I'm allowed to tell you.
more on that as I'm allowed to tell you. What the heck? Now, Dex and I were talking before the show, could this be something where it's an old video that it has been buried? They're going to pull out a video testimony. Somebody got him recorded on something. This is of course going to drive people, nuts. Is she doing it? And then, first of all, we thought this was an AI video. Dex, can we put the longer clip? Or have you already put the longer clip on the website?
No, I haven't, but I'll go find it.
Okay.
But yes, we went and found the actual video this came from to make sure it was legit, not just some AI clip.
We verify everything on the show. We double check it, and we've made a few mistakes in the past, but because of the system we have, everything we put on, we make sure to go double check and triple check. If it's a short video, we try to date it. We try to find where it is from, what the original source was, the original creator. We do all of this before the show. So again, if you would like, you can always do that, subscribe. But at the same time, this was not AI. This is a real clip. Some could say she's just doing that to hype her show. Very well, possible. But it's absolutely wild to think that, and this is what I thought immediately. I had an aha moment. Back when this all happened, when he was in jail and he perished, even though he was on watch, all of this, there was I don't know if it was on Reddit or somewhere else, but there was this chatter about an employee at the jail saying that there was a log of every vehicle that leaves, and that they saw a wheelchair being checked out and a van, but then that disappeared, that the log disappeared. And at the time, this is like as things are unfolding, the whole world is watching, and he's in this New York jail. And somehow he still passed. And then they carted him out and supposedly put him in the ambulance, right? Mind you, Hollywood can make an exact replica of somebody. They can put him on a stretcher. They've done it a trillion times in Hollywood. But let alone, we know of declassified times where they've, distracted adversaries and put somebody out. They look perished, and then out the back door they take somebody. This was thought about back then. But now, with this, it makes me think. Like, I don't know if you guys remember when he passed. I covered this stuff, and I said, it's just speculation. It could totally be somebody fake, whatever else. But it was like at the time there was no motivation for that. Somebody said that they worked there and that there was a log of a van coming down to the basement level, because this is in downtown New York, that van essentially left and there was no record of it. It was something, and I would paraphrase, but a van and I think a wheelchair. And it makes you wonder, all of the footage disappeared. Now, what if, because of what he knew, because of the dirt he had, this is why a lot of people didn't think he was truly gone. He had dirt on the most powerful people in the world. The same reason that he would be able to be taken out in that place would be the same reason that he might still be around, because he could have a kill switch. He could have something that if something happens to him, he triggers it. Maybe he used his one call from jail and called a bunch of people and said, "Hey, I'm about to flip the switch. You guys better get me out. I don't care if the world's watching." Something happened. Presidents were called. Prime ministers were called. Oil tycoons were called. Royal families, queens and kings were called. And something happened and he got out of there. It's a crazy thought, and I'm not saying that's what happened, but man, what in the heck is going on? Maybe the government put him in witness protection so they could go through and comb through this list thing. Like, maybe this is going to be used as a huge thing right before everything happens. Now, I think it's really crazy timing that EpiPen's brother came forward today, or yesterday. Was that yesterday? A random quote saying, "My brother told me in 2016 that I have information, and if I told you what I know on both of the candidates, that they would not be able, they would cancel the day of voting." I think it's very odd timing that that's getting put in the back of our head, and it was put all over the place. And right before, because now, if you haven't been following the Trump saga right now, they're saying they're now going after him because he took money from China. Not directly, basically anybody that stayed in his hotels while he was president that were from the CCP that stayed in his hotels, that was money from the CCP. So if somebody from the CCP stayed in his hotels, he was taking that money. I mean, they're really grasping at straws. Even if you hate Donald, it's pretty crazy. They just keep going to the next. It's like you can see a bunch of people in a room saying, like, well, what can we do next? Give me an angle. Like, what angle can we get this guy not to be there? We got to stop him somehow. It seems super obvious to me, and I'm not a hardcore supporter at all. But I can see it. I don't see how people on the left can't see it. And maybe some can, but they're just like, well, whatever way is possible, do it, because we don't want him in there again. Dex, go ahead.
I mean, what do they expect? He was going to tell everyone that comes to one of his expensive high-end hotels that are in major internationally traveled cities, if you're from a foreign country, you can't stay here. Like, they knew who he was when he was running. That's all BS. But yeah, I don't want to get into the whole political side of it, but that just seems so ridiculous.
And that's the thing. We try to, every news. They remember when the news actually said that they were unbiased and equal reporting and all that. I actually kind of do remember, like Fox or CNN, where they would have people from both sides on. Now, of course, they just, even if they have somebody who's from either side, it will be somebody who's either a rhino or somebody who is a fake this or fake that. It's like, there is no such thing. And ours, we try to stay away from these because it just starts arguments. But right now, it's getting absolutely nuts. Dex, go ahead.
When we're done with this subject, I got breaking news for you, thanks to Jammer.
I'm actually getting calls on the line that I only have for that. So, let's just do it. What is it?
Okay, grab it out of screener. The link. It's so this was at Ellsworth Air Force Base in South Dakota. A B-1 has crashed on the runway during landing. 4 have ejected. 1 is in the ER. They say all are okay. They're claiming it was due to icy and foggy conditions, but that's the current story, and it really just happened. That's pretty much breaking. There's probably not a lot of more details we can give you other than what we can show in that link, which seems to be a handful of tweets and a couple of screenshots. We'll put that, and if there's any updates, we'll put it on the website as well.
All right, let's see here. Let me pop it up on screen. Wow. Okay. Thank you, Jammer. Air Force B-1 crash, Ellsworth Air Force Base. Ellsworth Air Force Base B-1 aircraft crashed on the runway during landing. 4 ejected, 1 in the ER with back issues. They are all okay, believed to be due to icy and foggy conditions. My buddy from the flight line told me that they tried to keep them from flying this morning. It is foggy outright now, which is instantly freezing the ground. B-1 incident at Ellsworth Air Force Base. The crew successfully ejected and are okay. The incident has been confined to the base. I expect the Air Force to be making a statement. I don't know, Dex. What do you think? Like, it's seems like there's just a lot of weird events going on with transportation, planes. So
Certainly.
this is a B-1. This is a B-1 Lancer. How did 4 people eject? How does that work?
They have an ejection system. I mean, that plane has security in it. So yeah, they have the ability to. I don't know how it technically works, but yes, they can eject.
So
one of the
Millennium
people there,
Falcon, like there's 4 people and they all can eject. Like that's pretty crazy, right?
Yeah, depending on the configuration, I imagine they go in probably different directions a little bit, or at least at angles.
And they were low to the ground. It says that it was happening while they were landing. Maybe, I don't know. We'll touch up on this as well. Tomorrow's show will update on it. That's crazy. Thank you, Jammer. If you're watching the replay, you might have the full story already. And I, of course, I mentioned this yesterday, but this was what everybody, it's like, I tweeted, well, we all follow the Earth's demise, the fall of Rome, World War III. This is what most people care about. A limited edition sippy cup. Yeah, we have a problem. In 4 minutes, this is just one of the stores. Every store was the same way. All of the Targets and the Targets with Starbucks in them had these cups. And they're Stanley editions. Now, the people in the comments basically saying, well, you don't get why it's so hot? Why people want these? It's because the woman who her car caught on fire and there was a Stanley cup in the cup holder. Now, mind you, I was amazed by this too. The car melted, and I think it was a Hawaii car, right? It was part of that, maybe whatever. But either way, it was caught on fire, regardless of where it was. And when she took the cup out, it was more than 24 hours later, and the cup still had ice in it. Now, that is one heck of an ad for a cup that's supposed to keep things cold, right? Stanley, I guess the video that she did was such a huge advertisement for Stanley that Stanley reached out then and did a video on social media saying, hey, we're not only, everybody's calling for us to give you cups for life or whatever else, but we're going to go a step above that and we're going to buy you a new car. So that sets the stage for this. Now there's a special edition pink Stanley Cup, and everybody is absolutely losing their mind for. So this is what's been taking up Twitter real estate for 2 days, is the Stanley Cup thing. It's kind of similar to like the the what is it, Tickle Me Elmo type thing, or the Black Friday fights. This is what everybody is fighting about now. There's been physical fights. Somebody was nearly shanked for a freaking Stanley Cup. Now, mind you, 99% of these people, I guarantee you, are going to go directly to eBay or directly to Facebook Marketplace and then list them. They're listing for $300+. The only people that are buying them for $300 are, in my opinion, and no offense, I'm sorry if this is you, idiots that essentially want to show their friends like, oh, it's a limited edition cup. Like the people that really care about having material objects that are like, this is a sippy cup in my opinion. Like I get it, they're cool cups, but $300 for a cup? What is wrong with our freaking system? Like who is paying $300 for a damn cup? They think in 20 years they're going to be able to sell a cup to somebody for 10,000? That's what they are though. People pay this kind of money for stupid crap because there's only 5,000 of them or 10,000. Like it doesn't really seem that limited. If every Target had this many, it's not worth $300. And again, it's also not worth the real estate in people's minds right now. There are so many more important things. But some people are arguing that this kind of thing, this gets people's minds off of the World War III. This gets people, off of the whole subject that the world is falling apart. I get it. I guess it's objective, right? Subjective or objective? I think I'm using that wrong. I guess it's subjective. And then, yeah, the sheriff was called over cups. I mean, this is just stupidity in my opinion. But, what are you going to do? It is a nice cup. It's a super nice cup. I would probably go with the blue one, but I don't even think, is it a cancer cup? Like, is it a cancer cup? Is that the pink? Like, what else is so special? Okay. And then,
Well,
go ahead, Dex.
yeah, I mean, it's just they have regular Stanley Cups. I don't know why the pink one's such a big deal, but people trade stocks. They buy stocks to invest. They invest in Legos. I wonder if, Stanley is trying to make a new thing with these limited editions, kind of like Nike did with shoes, where people start, scrambling to get the latest limited edition, and they drive the price up and start selling them on StockX or something.
Okay, but I get Legos you can display. It's something that will be around in 2,000 years because it's made out of plastic. I get this. A Stanley Cup will be around for a long time because it's made out of steel or whatever they make it out of. But it's a cup. It is a cup. There's a lot of collectibles, and I totally get collectibles. But there's a lot of collectibles, like people that collect, I don't know, matchbooks or this or that. It's like, it's the weird collectibles that it's human nature in general that we collect these weird things. And if it's limited or special, then we go nuts. I guess it's more of a human thing, right?
Maybe there's some younger audience targeted influencer out there that's getting everybody all riled up over these things.
Oh, like
kind of like cred.
The Grimace shake. And if you haven't seen the cred episode, it is rough. Okay. It's not going to be for everybody. So I wouldn't recommend it for everybody, especially if you don't like language warning, and it's graphic. It's definitely graphic, but it was funny because I actually saw this. Like, my 8-year-old said everybody at school was bringing Prime to school. Everybody had Prime. And at first we didn't know that was the thing. And she just wanted Prime. And we're like, well, okay, sure. If that's what you want for your drink with lunch. But then she asked, like, can I get 2 or 3 Primes for school? And I'm like, what you don't realize is that episode for cred is absolutely happening in real time. Like, it's real. All these kids are being told by a YouTuber, go buy Prime, Prime. And they're taking multiple different flavors, and they're making limited flavors and things like this. And there's kids going across state lines to go get Prime bottles of drinks. I think it's absolutely crazy. So we ended up just having to talk about it. Like, you don't have to do what everybody else does. If everybody else has Prime drinks, how does that make them unique? Like, that doesn't make them special. They've got to drink. If you want 3 drinks because you want to drink 3 drinks, we have no problem sending you to school with 3 drinks. But we're not going to go get some special drink. We're not going to eBay drinks or something. Like, that's nuts. But yeah, these influencers that are selling to children. That episode pointed out how all of these influencers and all of these companies, they really are just targeting certain audiences, and they're pretending like they're not. All right, and then this is just, I just had to show you this. It's really sad, and I know there's some folks that have a special spot in their heart for Madonna. Just to show you, this is Madonna now, and this is this is a personal thing for me. I can't really stand the Hollywood thing where they get so much plastic surgery they're unrecognizable. And in my opinion, it's like the specific look that you get when you get so much plastic surgery it actually makes me sick. Like when I see those people, the men and the women with the huge cheeks, and just it looks gross to me. Look at the behind. Those are implants. That's like nuts to me. But everybody was talking about this. So this is the video, and people were praying in the comments. I posted, I said Cyberpunk 77, but this is Madonna. Look at this. Without music, it's almost disturbing. That was a user at Jebra Ashe. Look at that. And Madonna Live Pop 408. Is that just wild or what? The comments are probably the best though. So underneath they say, who's buying these concert tickets? Seriously, I could see a lot of people. My mom's generation just absolutely loved Madonna. Most people don't have a problem with the old Madonna. They have a problem with the new Madonna. And the new Madonna, it's like it's a psychological thing in Hollywood that they are treated like a certain way for decades, and then all of a sudden they age, and the ones I respect are the ones who can age gracefully, even if they aren't as pretty as they were, decades ago. I would still think that they're prettier than the people that are trying to keep themselves pretty. If you're 60, it's not natural. God didn't make you to be 75 years old and to have tight, luxurious skin. It's part of life. It means you're not accepting that you are going to meet your maker at some point. And I get it as I get older. I mean, it does suck. It sucks getting older. It sucks physically not being as pretty as you were when you're 20. But like, that's just not natural. What in your mind makes that? You can see it from the front. From the front. There is nothing right about that. What do you guys think, though? Is this what you would do if you had money? Let me know in the comments down below. Let's see here. By the way, thank you everybody who made it. Rip Curl, that is vanity. Absolutely. Yeah, that's like crazy vanity. Thank you, Rip Curl. Thank you, Rip Curl, for being here. And thank you, Renee Alera. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your support today. Bones and Tubbs Show. It's been a minute. Thank you so much for your support. It says, I would love to hear you read off your 2024 conspiracy bingo card. Haha. Love you guys. I don't have one. I want one now. Merlin, thank you so much. And this week, thank you for the support. I appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat. And over on D Live, thank you everybody that made it today. DFW Jackie, Global Impact, MC Dirty Work. Thank you, Chance, for modding over there. Karen from Columbus, Foreign Rebel. We've got Zoob 360. I don't see some of the regulars though over there. Thank you, Bad Allergies, J Girl, that's me, and of course, Saren. Thank you so much for subscribing. And it looks like Kevin Fagan, thank you so much for subscribing. Nicholas Maestro Pietro, thank you so much for subscribing as well. Thank you, anybody who ended up sharing our show out with your friends and family. That's the only way we can grow our community. So make sure to just let somebody know if you talk to somebody at work about any of these subjects, say, hey, you should go check out this show. We are working on maximizing the efficiency of our show and making it the best use of your time. Today's not the best example. We pulled from some of the kind of personal stuff that we were talking about today, just because the whole news cycle was EpiPen, and it's stuff that we've covered over the last 5 years a million times. So, in fact, the stuff that's coming out today that's news is stuff that we've already covered 50 times over. So thank you, everybody, for making it today. Appreciate everyone here. And let's see here. If you haven't already, make sure, if you don't have survival food, this is a really, really great reference to use. Go to marfooglenews.com/prep. This is freeze-dried food that will last 25 years. It's not going to go up in price. Once you get freeze-dried food like this, you're inflation safe. That's why a lot of people look at this as an investment. If you look at the price of freeze-dried food, it has now tripled in the last 3.5 years. In the next 5 years, where do you think it's going to go from there? So it's something that is, if you buy it yesterday, is a lot better than you buy it tomorrow. And as far as in 5 years from now, if this is triple the price, you won't be paying that because you bought it 5 years prior and it still has 20 years left on the shelf. This food is going to be good until 2053. All you have to do to eat it is just add water or cook it in water, and then boom, you've got the food right there. Freeze drying keeps in almost all of the nutrients. It keeps in almost all of the flavor. It is a much, much more efficient way to preserve food. It is some of the longest lasting as well. So go check it out, marfooglenews.com/prep. Of course, it helps us as well. It gives us a small commission, and it gives you a giant discount. You can get literally a giant discount on, it's going to rotate around the 1 month supply, the 3 month supply. You can get it packages as small as a 72-hour kit or even single meals. So go check it out, marfooglenews.com/prep. Dex, do you want to tell people how they can get to our website?
Absolutely. And real quick, Genius by Birth, thank you for gifting the memberships. I know you do that all the time, and everyone in the fam that keeps getting them keeps saying thanks. So that's just so awesomely generous of you. If you're looking for the stories, everything we've talked about, it's so easy to get to. marfooglenews.com. Click on the thumbnail for today's show. Looks like the thumbnail that we started with, or you can look at it on YouTube, or you can just go down into the description and click on the show notes link. It's the first link. It's going to take you right here. We did update this in real time. We had a lot of breaking information. We had additional things like that Megyn Kelly video. We linked the entire full show of hers, which was only a few hours ago. That's there too. So you can verify that that clip that was found on a social media, is legit. So it's all there. We source it. We make sure to put it together for you every night. All of the tweets, everything that we've covered, it's on marfooglenews.com. Click on the thumbnail for the show or hit that show notes link down below in the description.
Not only that, you have access to all of the friends. That is, again, all of our mods and great creators that we have worked with in the past and we believe are awesome, not only on, but off camera. Thank you to Bones, Chance, CJ, Jam, Lisa, Rib Curl Readiness, RJL Harris, Ilea, Trinity, Red or Blue Pill, Hi-Ho, Kermit the Frog here, and, of course, Wages World. And of course, make sure to also go check out our other channel over on Marfoogle News. You have a whole page. Once you click on news, you'll find all of the previous videos from over there. We're going to be putting out even more stuff over there. We may be adding a tab to this, so make sure to go check back on the website. You have lots and lots of information over there. You can go through older shows just because they were talking about older news. There's some really good shows in the past talking about that. You can look at the subjects and then watch the show at the very top. For instance, Don't Look Up is actually happening. Not only are you going to have a list of different articles to read, but you can actually go look and watch the video and the point that they were making. All right, guys, be safe, be prepared, and Marf out. It is now time for the shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not a shout out. It's a shoutro.
Tall, they like chilling at the Miami Mall. Hey, they 10 feet tall. Hopefully they don't like roving y'all. Hey, they 10 feet tall. They like chilling at the Miami Mall. Hey, they 10 feet tall. Hopefully they don't like roving y'all.
No. That is hilarious. The power went out just on the looper. Well, that song's gone forever. I'm glad. It deserved it. Either way, if you don't know what a shoutro is, somebody said the other night, they said, I got a comment from somebody who sticks around through this whole thing. Says, stop doing that thing at the end. It's annoying. At that point, you would think if you don't like if the show's over and if you don't like what comes after, just change the channel or turn the video off. I don't get that. I understand. I've never claimed to be a maestro or a Beethoven. In fact, most of my music is horrible, but there's something special behind it. It's the fact that it's for you guys. This horrible music is directly for you. It's to say thank you to the people that matter most. You. Some people just need to complain. Nah, sometimes. Some people are annoyed by it. But what I don't get is they take the time out of their day to do it. Let's make a song for Renee Alera. Thank you for being the top supporter tonight. And Genius by Birth, thank you again for gifting memberships. Really appreciate you.